Yo, what is up, everybody? So today we are talking about Frost Nexus, specifically a combo build of Frost Nexus, whereas you normally see like the Frigicub, aggressive stuff, especially with the new Chivalror and Blizzard being like supported in a sense. That Frost Nexus is fine. It did super well. I think Soren made a top four with that deck back in early Firestorm. No, this is much more Frost Nexus combo, which we'll get into the combo pretty soon, pretty quickly, but this kind of goes back to Daybreak and how the Frost Nexus deck should have kind of worked. Maybe a little bit differently since the meta was different, but I want to jump into this deck. I did very well in locals last night. I didn't drop a single game with this deck yet. Now, we weren't playing with sideboards and stuff. It was a little bit more impromptu of a locals, but I didn't drop a single game with this deck, and people want to play against it. And yeah, I just didn't lose. Now, the deck needs a sideboard. My opponents definitely need a sideboard against the deck, but let's just jump into it and talk about what makes this Frost Nexus combo more relevant, or at least relevant, other than just the Frost Nexus Chivalry or aggro stuff. So when we're talking about Frost Nexus combo, it's pretty straightforward off the start. We're starting with 3 and Frost Sticks. That's core of what we need for the combo. The other core piece is going to be Keon, because we're going to basically use some Frost Sticks, bring back our 1-drops. Keon's a Nexus Bank that also gets our Frost Sticks back, so now we get in Frost Sticks, special cast another 1-drop, do our Nexus shenanigans, build up a bunch of spirits back on board with Frigicubs and Brimalinkses and Catarants, etc., and then do some shenanigans with it. So this deck got a pretty good boon out of Firestorm, which we'll get to later on, but we're going to talk more about the combo stuff first. So the Nexus package we're burning. So Broomlinks from Daybreak. I want to talk about Broomlinks from Daybreak for a bit. This is going to be the majority of the video, probably, because this card is overperforming in the deck. It's not quite as good as Equaling, because it doesn't destroy runes, for sure. But it does stop our opponents from using runes against us, and there's a little bit of, when your opponent thinks they get their rune back, spoiler, they don't get their rune back. When they think they're getting the rune back, they're less likely to use things like PTA, Gorgons, and Shield, etc. against this card, particularly PTA and Gorgons, because they don't expect to lose the card, but they will eventually. So when we go Broomalinks and lock down a Gorgon's Gaze, your opponent's not going to use the Gorgon's Gaze against the Broomalinks. Why would they? So they don't get a Gorgon's Gaze in the following turn. If you hit their PTA, they're probably just said not to PTA the Broomalinks, so they think, oh, if they hit my PTA, I'll just get it back later when I destroy the Broomalinks. They don't. Additionally, you can flip over Divines, Artifacts, etc. So the opponents are losing spirits potentially, and you're locking stuff down. It's pretty interesting. I would actually run 3 in the deck instead of 2, just for this kind of potential of what this card enables for the combo focus, where you start your combo with going like special Broomlings from Underworld and Frost Sticks, lock down their back row, and then go the rest of the combo. And next to shenanigans, your opponent just has to stare at you while you build this giant Nexus board of like 10 spirits plus on the board. It's kind of hilarious. And if you go Broomlings from your Underworld, let's say, and Frost Sticks to get it out, and you go other Broomlings from your hand, and you just lock down 2 cards to the board, and then you still have the special off Keon and Frost Sticks shenanigans, like, it overperforms. It's actually, the fact that it doesn't say destroy is a pro and a con, and the fact that your opponent thinks they're going to get their runes back, but they're never going to be able to out this card, hopefully. Or you're going to combo through and destroy their back row anyway, and they don't get the cards anyway. So, a very sleeper card in the deck. The 5 defense is super relevant. Eddie Galaxy Champ does out it, which is a little problematic, but that's what your back row is for. To stop specifically like cards that out this card so they can't use the back row ever again. You do the rest of your deck basically does shenanigans. So we are Nexus deck. We do run 3 of the Frostfall Frigicub. Again, we're building this board where we can just Nexus spirits all over the place, get a bunch of spirits on board, heal them back through Frigicub onto board, heal them back with Catarant. If we get 1 Catarant on board and start doing all this shenanigans, every Nexus we do is going to heal us 2 and enchant 1 to board. To the point where I have played a bunch of games yesterday night where I ran out of Frost Spirits in my deck. I think I ran 13 or 14, and they were all on board. And I couldn't do anything with Catarant anymore. And Frigicub didn't get the heal anymore. So it's just, you just do this shenanigans because you get 2 Frigicubs on board with them Frost Sticks, and it's just, you go crazy. And Catarant, Frigicub together, you just get all your spirits out of your spirit deck, and then what do? The boon of this deck coming out of Firestorm is definitely the new Broomalinks. Searching Stadium is very important for this deck to get our numbers high enough to swing over opponent's stuff. We don't care about the back row if it's locked down by Broomlinks, so if we get a big high stat of Frigicub, we can start swinging over stuff because the rest of their back row is going to be locked down. So we have Broomlinks there to search a Stadium, as well as 1 Blizzard in the deck as backup. Just nice to be able to go Blizzard and then lock the other one with Broomlinks as well if you already have Stadium, stuff like that. So that is nice. We run 2 Narpoons for our searching. Remember, we're playing a 1-drop Frost deck basically. Narpoon's normally going to search for Frost sticks or a Broomalinx. I think I might want to go down 1 in Frost sticks and go up a Broomalinx and then just use Narpoon to search in Frost sticks, stuff like that. But the Frost is very important in the combo. It's very hard to want to go less than 3 in Frost sticks. But I do want to go 3 Broomalinx because this card was overperforming phenomenally, just locking down our opponent's stuff. And we're going to go into what that lockdown does now. So our opponent's stuff is all locked down. They're not going to get a chance to respond to anything. And then we just drop the Emperowatt on them. That's the deck. So let's pause real quick here and talk about how the deck functions. So through the normal course of a game, let's say we have a Broomalinx and a Frigicub in Underworld. Any 2 1-drops really in the Underworld is fine. We can play ourselves, let's say, a Catarant, and we get some spirits back. This is like middle of the game. And then we can go, cool, and Frost 6, let's go get Broomalinx back. Unassuming, opponent probably doesn't want to respond to Broomalinx because they don't want to waste runes on something, yada yada yada. Go Kion. You Nexus Kion, what you Broomalinx Kion to Catarant, block an opponent's back row, heal for 2. You Kion, get him Frost Sticks back. Go Frigicub. Frigicub, do some other heal shenanigans. You get like a Mounted Boreas in play. That's like kind of stage 1. You get, and this is all of a sudden now you'd have like 3 spirits in the Catarant, 1 spirit here, 2 spirits here, a bunch of decently spirited Elestrals, and then hopefully some other back row. If you have Mounted Boreas, these can all swing for damage. If you want to save your normal, and you have, let's say, Catarant, Frigicub in the Underworld, or let's say Catarant, Broomalinx, basically any Nexus are in the Underworld and Catarant, you can go in Frost Sticks for Catarant, free reanimation basically, Kion for your, let's say, Broomalinx, Nexus, Broomalinx to Catarant, heal 2 back from that, and Frost Sticks you just spent to bring back the Broomalinx as well as lock down opponent's back row. Then you go, cool, hard ascend over that into an Emperowatt and suck up spirits, or if you don't want to suck up spirits, you could just go, cool, and if you have other cards in play, like if you've already had another Nexus Bank in play or whatnot, you just put a bunch of spirits onto Catarant. You leave the Broomalinx alive because this Broomalinx locks down your opponent's back row, so they can't respond to the Emperowatt. Emperowatt gets 6 spirits on it, you disenchant 3, blow up their board. Yo, editing works real quick, so I want to be clear on how Emperowatt works. So if you activate its abilities to siphon all spirits to it, you have to tuck up all your spirits to it. But if you have extra Elestrals on board or Frigicubs that put more spirits on your Catarant, you don't siphon, get 6 on it from all the Nexus you do, and then just spend 3, or you siphon spirits from your Elestrals only using the Ascension mechanic as opposed to Emperowatt's effect to get only the spirits you want on Emperowatt, so you leave your Broomalinx alive to keep the lockdown intact while you blow up their board. Just to be clear on how that works. That's surprisingly consistent. Like, there's a couple games last night out of the 6 I played where it's just like, cool, Broomalinx locks 2 back row, shuffle some Nexus spirits around, ascend to Emperowatt, blow up your board while they can't respond, and then swing for like 8. That's what the deck does, and it's consistent enough. While yes, there's weaknesses to it, and I think my opponents had proper sideboards against the deck would be fine. I think if I had a proper sideboard for the deck, it would do fine as well, because the sideboard options are pretty interesting. So let's go into the runes of the deck now that we've talked about all the Elestrals. I run 2 Mounted Boreas. I run 3 Shield. We are a little back row light in this deck, I will not lie. 3 Ambrosia, 2 Altar because we're a Nexus deck, 3 Gorgons, a Rise from the Ashes because we're a little bit of reanimation deck, a Blizzard for search target off the Broomalinx, and then we have 3 Rabbits, which surprisingly still ascends into Emperorwatt, normally enchanted Alpha Nexus, so pretty relevant there. I run 1 Earthquake as well. That Earthquake, like, I honestly would probably get rid of the Earthquake in favor of like PTA, and then maybe dropping like a Shield for a PTA. I think I need a little bit more back row, whether it's Tsunami or PTAs, for this deck to really function. It's just the deck is really tight right now. It's hard to figure out exactly what I want to use for the deck to take up those spaces. The Rise from is pretty useful. There are sometimes where you just go normal Emperowatt with 3 spirits on it, disenchant to boom bat their whole board, and then you go Rise from the Ashes, bring it back the following turn to do another board wipe if you really need to. That's 9 spirits. but hey, it's 2 board wipes in a sense. Or you just rise like a Catarant, you take the negative on the spirits, and it's a backup to the Enfrostix play. If you played and paired with the Enfrostix, great. Additionally, with Enfrostix, if you get multiple Keones, you get multiple Enfrostix uses, which Enfrostix plus Keone is repeatable, same cost as Rise from the Ashes. So Catarant is very important in this deck. The healing is very important in this deck. The mountains are very important in the deck. The deck honestly wouldn't hate going to 3 mountains just because of how important it is for kind of ending the game without Emperowatt. But yeah, that is the basis of the deck. It's super fun. It's interesting. It's unique, and it's like very combo focused. Just Frost Nexus, reanimate guys, drop big penguin on opponent, and go from there with winning the game. The Spirit deck is pretty straightforward. So around 2 Leviathan for our harpoons / misenchants. I have 4 Zaptors. There's probably going to become 3 Zaptors. I really don't find any use for the 4th Zaptor ever. Even if I draw 2 Rabbits, it's not that big a deal. 2 Tralis for the Earthquake, and the rest of the deck is Frost Spirits. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 Frost Spirits. It should probably be 13. Cut a Zaptor out. And I think that'd be a little bit better because, again, I kept running out of Frost Spirits because all my Frost Spirits kept being on my board over and over again. Just through the Frigicub and the Catarants, reenchants, and just like I kept being 1 Frost short. Still winning the game, but like there are turns where it's like I could end the game this turn if I had 1 more Frost Spirit to do the rest of my combo shenanigans, and I didn't have it. So I really think going down 1 or 2 Zaptors for more Flurmane, or even cutting 1 Zaptor for Frost, 1 Zaptor for Leviathan, and trying to slot in some Tsunamis. Cut the Tratless for some more Flurmines and like Tsunami or PTA shenanigans, and drop the Earthquake from the deck. The Earthquake just wasn't doing anything, maybe pushing it to side. So those are kind of options. And then I don't have a side deck yet for this, but I'll kind of go over what I was thinking side deck wise. So obviously Kryling, going back to Frostfall, Daybreak, Frost deck meta was Kryling Reanimator stuff with Enfrostix. That works fine. You can definitely go Kryling with this deck, even if you want to throw like a couple of Fire Spirits in your side, or you put 1 Fire Spirit in your main, so you can go Cryo Scorch. Backup, I have the new Shiverwar. It's fine. It's just a way to get a bigger threatening body on board if I can't really rely on the stadium. Circle of the Sky goes crazy in this deck because we're doing Nexus shenanigans combo stuff, so it is actually pretty decent in some of the more like I need to play a combo deck to win the game. I'm going full out combo. I have 3 more Helios. I have a 3rd Emperorwatt if I just need to rely on Emperorwatt. Like if I'm going against like a Blistrix and I need to combo, I'll probably go up on the Emperorwatt and try to like go full combo, blow board, and thankfully their mountain boards will help me more than it probably will help them. So it's just a way to kind of out a giant wide board if I don't have access to do that consistently against the Blistrix. The 3rd Altar just cuz, 2nd Blizzard just cuz, and 3 Cryoblast because I'm still working on the side deck. It definitely needs a little bit of help in the side deck. I think some side deck options to make the deck a little bit less combo centric and more aggressive focus if my opponent's running answers to some of the combo stuff, like Dense Fogs and the Frost Wind counter that flips Divines over, because that will stop you from being able to use any of the Keone stuff at all. And other things like that. So things to make a little bit more of an aggressive deck. So Shiverors, Cryolings, Cryoverns, stuff like that would make the deck probably a little bit more consistent in the side deck going into game 2. When your opponent's expecting big like Nexus combos and preparing for that, and you just go, cool, here's some 7s with the stadium, they're 9s now that threaten a Cryo Scorch. So that's generally what I think the side was looking like. Until I find out exactly what the bad matchups of this deck are, besides like Fire Nexus and Kinleo's destroying everything. The deck cooks. It's a very fun, interesting combo deck. So that's what I have for you today. See you guys in the next one. This is just a fun little deck I wanted to go over that I played last night, and surprisingly I didn't say it didn't surprise me that it's playable. It surprised me how well I was able to play it last night. Maybe I just got lucky. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one, which is going to be me talking about my adventures in getting to the highest rank in Clash. So that'll be a fun one. It's just going to be a little bit. But other than that, peace. Have a great one.